Welcome to episode 59 of the Loane Hockey Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a player recently drafted in 2023 from the Anaheim Ducks, second overall. That is Leo Carlsson. And when you talk about Leo Carlsson, the game of his and how intriguing it is, and he's a power forward who can play with a lot of skill and a lot of raw talent, and that's what really separates him in terms of his actual ability. And another big thing when it comes to him is ability to play like Anze Kopitar and Leon Draisaitl on two really good comps, and obviously Leon Draisaitl now coming off as the highest player in the NHL. But when you look at Leo Carlsson's game and how he resembles both of those players and how well he can resemble and play like both of them, and he plays slightly different, but in terms of his power game, how he's able to finesse in small areas, how he's able to make plays in small areas, it's very similar to that of Draisaitl and Kopitar. Not necessarily a prettier skater, but with his linear crossover usage and his ability to turn on a dime, his ability to pivot under duress and make plays with his skating, he still has above average feet for his size, which is still really noticeable to watch within his game and really intriguing element to his game. And it's a good foundational element to his game as well. And Carlson, he's a really smooth, really fluid puck carrier who really incorporates body position and puck positioning and attacking on angles really well. And with Carlson, I really liked his improvement this year. And obviously, he had some injury issues in the midst of the season that slowed him down a little bit, but he had a really good first season. And you could really see the potential for him to evolve into a top line center in the future because he can play like a natural center. You want him to play as a center consistently and have that development as a center, get adapted to the middle lane and be able to adapt as a two-way player defensively and a shutdown center as well. And Carlson plays the game with a steady pace to his game. He's not too high, not too low, but he plays fluidly and he plays with a calm demeanor to his game. And he's actually really good at being able to suck in pressure when he has the puck on his stick. And I believe a lot of this has to do with his slower style of pace, where he's not necessarily super dynamic or super fast per se. So this sometimes gives defenders an advantage in thinking of how they might be able to stop him. But once they draw him in, and once he draws them in, he's able to get around them with a quick little maneuver, deke a side to side play with the puck, and he could really make guys look foolish. And he's done this at the SHL as well. And that's part of why I believe his skating is underrated in a sense. And like I said, he's not the prettiest skater, but even though there are some flaws, his ability to suck in pressure and not have as much speed can actually favor his ability sometimes. Because not having as much speed, like I said, it can force guys to close a little bit too early, and he can get around those guys and create space for himself in scenarios. And he's really skilled as a small area player, and that's what's really, really intriguing about him at 6'3" is the coordination and how well he maneuvers. And it's rare to find a prospect and a player at that size who continues to execute in small areas with his handling skill and being able to utilize that handling skill to get to the next possession, get to the next space when he has the puck. So Carlson's really effective at maneuvering through two, three guys, multiple layers of players to be able to get around pressure and create space for himself. And he's not afraid to stick handle through traffic when necessary. He's going to have to. And he's done it a lot in the NHL. I've seen it a lot off line rush, off entry scenarios, and inside the offensive zone around the perimeter, where he's done a really good job of being able to maneuver in tight quarters and tight settings where sometimes it looks like it's an unfavorable condition for him, but he finds a way to get into space seamlessly. So with Carlson, you're getting a really intriguing player in that sense. That's what's really intriguing to watch about him and why I enjoy watching him so much. And then on the other side of it, you look at his two-way play, the shutdown habits, the ability to shut down players and stay above the puck, be in inside positioning, be able to leverage his center of gravity, being able to leverage his frame, being able to leverage different components of his game to play a shutdown game and play not necessarily heavy with brute physicality per se, but more so on angles. And you see a lot of these even bigger players nowadays who are really skilled. They're able to rely more on angles and stick on puck play. And I've mentioned it so many times throughout many different episodes, but it truly is something that the game is evolving into, where it's more about efficiency than trying to be physical. And you could still maintain efficiency while being physical, but physicality isn't always necessary anymore. You can play efficient defense in many other ways as well, and specifically to stick on puck and attacking angles, skating forwards. And Carlsson does a good job of those things. He does a really good job of staying above the puck. And I believe some of his development has to do with his SHL habits and how much opportunity he was given in Orebro last year. They're not last year, I believe 2 years ago now. And given that opportunity when he was playing with the men's team and playing in many different situations, power play, penalty kill, shutdown game, offensive game, a lot of different situations where he could thrive and adapt accordingly. And obviously, he had a really good season in the SHL, and a lot of those habits really ingrained from the SHL to the NHL in a positive way. So the thing is with him and his small area play too, that's really intriguing is that a lot of his small area play translated really effectively to the NHL because even in the SHL where there's a wider ice surface, there's more space, he was still maneuvering through small space. And he's still taking advantage of those small space opportunities with manipulation and deception. That was why I believe he could translate into the NHL in his first season as soon as last season. And I projected his arrival a little bit later. I projected his arrival full time this year, but he had a really good year last year, and he's going to continue to get better this year. And I have no doubt in my mind that he could be a player that he could eclipse 50, 60 points if he's given the right opportunity. And the Ducks, you see what they're building in Anaheim now, where they have a lot of bigger, skilled, power skill like forwards, where they combine the skill of a power forward and skill forward. So you have Cutter Gauthier, there's Mason McTavish, there's obviously Carlsson, and there's so many other guys in Anaheim. Beckett Seneca's coming up through the system now, and Seneca could be a fast track player in terms of development in the next few years where he can make the NHL too. So you have a lot of bigger like players who can also play a skill game, and they're built for the playoffs, and that's what Pat Verbeek really likes. And so Leo Carlsson, he has again the potential to be the team's future first line center without a doubt, and a special player. And he's special in the sense of how he uses his mind. He's so smart with his anticipation as well. That's another big thing. I noticed this offensively and defensively, more so defensively than anything else, with being in position and being able to get to the right spots at the right times, being able to get in lanes at the right moments, being able to shut down lanes, being able to clog up lanes, being able to do so many different things in terms of his reads and positioning and being able to use his angles to be able to be in the right spots in those situations in those settings. So Carlson, he's a very effective all around player, and he's going to continue to get better in the future for the Ducks as well.